Top 10 moments of fashion for 2023. So let's just start at the top of the list. So number 10 is cartoon clothing. So if you guys are following what's going on in the fashion industry, I will say that Louis Vuitton has pretty much led the charge in terms of cartoon clothes. In their fall winter 23 collection, there was like these Polly Pocket clothes. So it was these skirts that really kind of looked like cartoons. And but the material, if you go to the website or you go to their Instagram page and look at the garments, they're very well made. The fabrication is beautiful, but it really kind of gives that cartoon aesthetic. And I'm sure you've all seen those big red boots that Mischief had released in 2023. So there's really that sort of like cartoon aesthetic. And what I hope to see in 2024 in terms of that is people just continuing to have a lot of fun with clothes and not taking fashion so serious and really just kind of having fun with it and doing new artistic, things when it comes to fashion. So we're excited to see that. My number 9 on my top 10 2023 fashion moments is titled All the White Men. So Sean McGarrett replaced Sarah Burton, who was the creative director for Alexander McQueen, and just has done an amazing job over at Alexander McQueen. And she departed, and I'm not even really sure why she departed, but her replacement was Sean McGarrett, who was who did a lot of work at J.W. Anderson, and is an amazing designer. So nothing to discredit him, but what that means is that all of the creative directors for all the fashion houses under Karen are all white men. So for those of you that don't know, Karen is probably the second powerhouse in the fashion industry. So their biggest competitor is LVMH. And some of the brands under Karen is Gucci, Saint Laurent, Bottega Veneta, Balenciaga, Alexander McQueen, and Brioni. So what I hope to see in 2024 is that we see more women in the creative director roles, really kind of stepping up and taking charge and really kind of giving us a different point of view, because we just want to see something different. It's not that we have anything against white men. We just want to see something different. We want to see a female point of view. And especially what I would love the most is to see some women of color with a point of view as we move into 2024. My number 8 fashion moment of 2023 is earn your leisure wear. So this past August, I had the amazing opportunity to do some fashion correspondence at Invest Fest, which is one of the biggest financial festivals in the world, in Atlanta, Georgia. And during Invest Fest 2023, one of the co-founders, Rashad Bilal, actually stirred up a little controversy because he wore some custom outfits in collaboration with his stylist Mike B. Shout out to Mike B. Shout out to Rashad. And he did these pajama inspired looks. And, I'm going off the comments. A lot of people had a lot of stuff to say. And I will just say this, going into 2024, let's stop, criticizing people or judging people for what they wear. And really, at the end of the day, what Rashad did was very groundbreaking and very trend forward. I guarantee we're going to see a lot of pajama inspired looks as we move into 2024, and just that whole idea of a top and bottom match. I was able to talk to him during Invest Fest, and the 2 pajama inspired outfits was one that was like a white French terry, black pipe, beautiful top and pant look that was exceptional, looked clean. That black on white was impeccable. And then his second look for day 3 of Invest Fest was like this baby blue satin look with the EYL embroidery. So, watch out. We kind of look at the heavy hitters in terms of fashion, but there's a lot of people that are bubbling, that are setting trends. You might not believe it, but trust when I believe you, there's a lot of people that are setting trends. So you want to make sure that you're looking out for those folks. My number 7 fashion moment of 2023 was the return of Phoebe Philo. So Phoebe left Celine in 2017, and she clearly kind of left a void. We were all sort of waiting and really excited to see her launch of her collection in October of 23. It was a little bit of a long time coming, but again, it was really about I love the fact, going back to the earlier point that I was making about not having enough women in these creative director spaces. The fact that Phoebe kind of went off on her own and created her own collection is what I want to see more of. More women really stepping out there and creating those collections and becoming those powerhouses in the fashion industry. And, you know, in terms of her collection, it did not disappoint. She has this ability to kind of play with these exaggerated proportions and, you know, these great silhouettes that for some reason, just even though it's like exaggerated shoulders and really voluminous tops, it really just seems very wearable. So excited to see what she's going to do. So she dropped 2 collections, one in October and one in November, I believe. And I just can't remember the dates off the top of my mind, but I'm really excited to see what she does in 2024. And I really hope that there'll be more women like myself. You can see what's going on in the background that kind of steps up and really sort of take charge in this fashion industry, because it is time. So my number 6, as I go through my list, is the Tabby Tinder Swindler, because the audacity of that man to steal that girl's shoes. And I'm not even gonna go into the details. Hopefully you guys know the story. You saw it when it came out earlier this year. But, you know, she swiped right on Tinder, met this guy, came to her apartment, and he stole her tabbies. Like, seriously, what I hope for 2024 is my single ladies that are out here on these apps, be vigilant. Be vigilant. Make sure you're screening these guys before you bring them to your house, because they might just be after your shoes. Crazy. Number 5 on my top 10 fashion moments of 2023 is Tremaine's Supreme exit. And this is a little bit of a serious note. So Tremaine Emory left Supreme, and he cited systematic racism for his reason for leaving. And for those of you who know anything about the fashion industry, or those of my friends who may be out there, people of color, especially women of color who work in the fashion industry, we face this every single day. It's not a myth. It's not a thing that we're making up. It's really one of those tough things that I don't think that we talk about enough. I feel like there is a little bit of a community on TikTok I've seen of, like, you know, Black girls in corporate fashion, and, you know, people open up and telling their stories. But it's really one of those things that's just rooted in the foundation of the fashion industry, and not just fashion, but just business in general, unfortunately. And, you know, sometimes people in power just can't see how that manifests and how that affects the people of color that work for their organization. So, and the crazy thing is, it was over a controversial artwork. Like, apparently there was a disagreement about the choice of artwork that they were using, when Supreme is known as a brand to use controversial artwork. And also, their whole brand image is off the backs of the Black urban community. So, you know, it's really just sad to see that happened. But shout out to Tremaine, and he's doing amazing things with Denim Tears. I know we're used to seeing sort of the cotton print, and that's popular, but he's doing a lot of great things with fabrication and silhouette. And I'm excited in 2024 to see how Tremaine will continue to grow Denim Tears and see what comes of that. My number 4, and I promise you, when I was making this list, I literally just made the list of all of my fashion moments, and then I kind of like numbered them at the end, because I had more than 10, but I had to number them at the end, and then I kind of just omitted the things that kind of didn't fall in the list. But my number 4 is Beyonce. Swear didn't do it. But it's divine that Beyonce is number 4. I mean, Renaissance World Tour was a fashion moment. It was amazing. I mean, from Louis to Balmain to Mugler to Marni to Diesel, Jean Paul Gaultier, Alexander McQueen, Telfar, Pucci, Gucci. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, every night was a treat. In my opinion, I feel like Thom Browne really kind of stood out to me. That's when I kind of like first noticed. I mean, I've obviously known about Thom Browne for a long time, but when it really just stood out, and I was looking at all the looks that came on the staircase, I can't even call it the red carpet, for the Met Gala this year, I really feel like Thom Browne stood out a lot. And then you top it with the fact that he did his first couture collection in 2024, and it was fun, and it was fanciful, and it was unstructured structure, and it was amazing, and it was new, but it was familiar. And no shade, I love Mugler, believe me, like historically, I love it, I love it, I love it. But I'm so tired of seeing paneled leggings. Like, can we just dress up again? And I think Thom Browne gave us that. You know, all the lists, the Vogue list, the list, you know, put Prada and Miu Miu at the top. And I get it. And I love Miu Miu. I'm a Miu Miu girl in my aesthetic. I'm a Prada aesthetically, like, I get it. I'm all black, I'm all beige. As you can see, I'm all gray. I'm very minimalist in terms of what my personal style is. So I get it. But I feel like Prada, Miu Miu, that was last year, really. In my opinion, I feel like Thom Browne probably should have been the designer of the year for some of those lists, but maybe I'm projecting, and maybe that'll happen for 2024. So looking forward to 2024. I hope Thom Browne as a brand really gets the notoriety that they deserve and really kind of catapults to the forefront. And I can't wait to see what they do to continue to develop the collection. Number 2 is the Balmain heist. Like, seriously, again, like, the audacity. Why y'all out here stealing? So Oliver Roosting, who is the creative director for Balmain, put out an Instagram message that days before, hours before, really. I mean, it was days before, but it was also hours before. I want to say it was like 72 hours before the show, that there was a heist. There was a real fashion heist. I feel like they should probably make a movie about this at some point. But that a truck that was carrying a lot of the looks that were gonna appear on the runway show was stuck up at gunpoint, and the looks were stolen like crazy, like days before the show. And shout out to Oliver Roosting, because everything still looked amazing. Not that this is a review of Balmain, but the polka dots and the rose motif and the florals were just really amazing. But I want to know some of the looks that were stolen. Like, I really wanted to see the creativity. So shame on whoever was behind that heist. And hopefully we'll see in the next year more to come from Oliver and Balmain. And my number one 2023 moment in fashion goes to Pharrell at Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton lovers. There's so many reasons why this was my number one. Just because it was a great show. It was an amazing show. And to bring all the elements together, the celebrity, the music, the models, and then let's just not forget the clothes. The clothes looked amazing. You know, I think Pharrell really took a lot of those Louis Vuitton codes and really like made them new and made them fresh. He took the Diamante pattern and really made that new and really made that fresh. And he took the Speedy, which is near and dear to my heart, because that was one of the first luxury items that I've had, was a Speedy 30 in the classic brown and beige LV print. So to see the Speedy really sort of maximalized and really become the star of the show, and that $1 million Speedy that I'm sure you guys have all seen. It was just really amazing. And especially because I feel like there were a lot of naysayers, because, you know, people were like, oh, they just got another black person to kind of fill Virgil's shoes, and he can never do what Virgil did. But I don't think the goal was to do what Virgil did. I think the goal was to add an additional sentence or an additional paragraph. And I think Pharrell did that so well. And some of the other things that people were saying were, can a entertainer or a celebrity or a music artist really be a creative director in fashion? But we have to remember that Pharrell literally changed fashion from just his point of view, with his skateboarder style and a lot of the clothes that he's worn. One of my interviews, if you check out Real Life Fashion Stories on YouTube, shameless plug, my episode 1, I interviewed a young man who's a Christian streetwear designer, and he credits Pharrell as one of the people that helped him recognize his original style. So Pharrell has always impacted people from a fashion perspective, so it only made sense that he would kind of take that role. And I will say, he has done an amazing job and really kind of took the torch and passed the torch. So in terms of what I'm looking for in 2024 from Louis Vuitton is to continue to push the envelope forward. I feel like he's definitely did that job where he did that, but I think that there's definitely more opportunity to do that a little bit. Pharrell and Louis Vuitton.